Okay, what we're looking at here is the passenger side of the Pinzgauer, the floorboard, and the seat brackets. Now, I've had some questions about how I built and installed those seats that I showed you in the previous video, so I thought I'd show you how I built the brackets. These mounting brackets are for the original seat that you're looking at right here. The passenger seat's a little bit more difficult to install than the driver's seat because of the confined space with the engine cover. And it's important to get that right. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble shutting the door and getting the seat in the right position. So to make this easier on myself, what I did is I built a template. So let me show you the template I made. This is just out of foam board. You can make it out of cardboard, whatever you want. I know it's ugly, but it actually served its purpose well. Basically what I did is I built a model of the floorboard. And what you're looking at, these gray brackets are exactly the same dimensions as these down here. I 3D printed those. You can make them out of foam board or cardboard, whatever you need to. But you want to make sure they're precise. So those are lined up correct. They're square and lined up correctly. This piece of foam represents the engine cover and how high it is off the floor here. Also the distance between this bracket. And so I know what the space is. These vertical uprights represent my limits. So this one particularly is the engine cover here. And the one in the back is the engine cover here in the back. And the other one here is the side of the frame. The front of the piece of foam represents the front right here of the floor. So it is a useful tool when building the brackets because now I can work on my seat on the workbench and not have to sit here and constantly lift this heavy seat in and out of the floor of the Pinzgauer. So let's take this over to the seat. I'll show you how it all went together. And we'll take a look at that. So here's our seat. Folded flat. Don't look too closely at the welds. They're not pretty. Anyways, let's take a look at this. So you put the template on, just like this. And what it let me do is just line everything up. There's the centering pins you can see. Here's the brackets. It gives you a sense of what a flush mounted seat would look like. And if you do it right, you get a good picture of how things are going to line up. It's a very useful tool, and now I'm not going back and forth to the car with this heavy seat trying to make brackets I think will fit. So with this put to the side, let's take a look at the bracket itself. Fairly simple. I got some L brackets from the hardware store that I found over in the 2x4 section. I got some, this is 1-inch angle iron, 1/8-inch thick steel, 1/4-inch steel rod, some 1-inch U-channel, more angle iron in the back, L brackets, and then a flat piece of steel here in the back with a hole drilled through it. These are 10mm bolts that all mount to the stock hardware in the seat. So I could take this entire bracket out and the seat's completely stock. There's no welding here. The 1/4-inch bolts here up front that go into the seat as well. So a fairly simple build. You'll notice that the pins are offset because that seat in the passenger side is slightly over 3 inches from the driver's seat. So it is very different. But anyways, that's how I did it. Thought I'd share that with you. I hope that helps. If you do run into some issues when you're doing this, I do recommend you take some foam board or cardboard and you make templates of your brackets. This was a template for the rear bracket you see here. Gives you an idea of the geometry and how things are supposed to line up. Before you cut any steel or make anything, make a template of it. I did find out once I was done building all of these that I put these pins in too low, so there was some slop. So what I ended up doing was building these bushings. This is a material called TPU. I 3D printed these, and it just slides on and gives the bracket a little bit more stability when it's mounted to the seat. And those work very well. So always nice to be able to custom print some bushings. Anyways, there's a few different ways I'm sure you could dream of doing this, but I hope that helps you guys out, and we'll talk to you later.